back here at Ground Control. I'm Ryan, I'm here with Boris. He's one of our instructors here. And now we're still continuing with the full guard. We're gonna move on from submissions, now start exploring some sweep options that we have from the full guard position. So a very basic one is known as the scissor sweep. And we're gonna start in the full guard position. Now the first part is gonna be establishing my grips. When I do the scissor sweep in the direction that I want to go, I try to apply my grips to the side of that body. If I cut Boris in half, I will establish grips on both sides of that body. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to get a cross collar grip, and at the same time, I get a sleeve grip. Now, I prefer a cat's paw grip. I've also seen it, and some people prefer going at the elbow, and I'll show both variations and then explain the pros and cons to it. So as I pull Boris down, I wait for him to give me that response where he pulls back up, and I use that to unlock my guard, and I start sitting up towards my elbow if I have the sleeve grip, like so. I'm gonna blade my hip so I'm no longer flat. I'm gonna be on my side, on the same hip that I have, on the same side that I have my grips established. Now my foot is gonna be on the mat. I'm gonna just do a small shrimp away, and now that's gonna create space that my knee can carve right in front of Boris, and my shin's going right across his center line. I'm flexing my foot on his opposite hip so that I can catch him, and my other leg is gonna drop so that the crease of my knee cups right at the bottom of his knee. Now Boris still has a lot of control over his base right now. So if I try to cut through, I'm probably not going to get it. So I'm gonna need to start loading his weight onto my high leg. That's gonna be the key to this. That takes weight off of his knees and allows me to get that clear cut and end up in the mount position. So what I like to do from here is as I'm pulling, I'm also gonna take my elbow that I'm posted on and I throw it right towards my hip. At the same time, I open my hip to start taking some of his center of gravity and taking weight off of his knees. When I do this, I'm not pulling straight back, elongating myself. I feel like I haven't done anything to manipulate his base whatsoever. So I take my elbow and I throw it underneath. At the same time, I start opening my knee. Now, as I do this, I'm gonna look over my shoulder. I'm gonna do a hard cut underneath with my bottom leg and a hard cut forward with my top leg in opposite directions to work him down towards his back. Now the last thing that I do is I look over my shoulder, engaging my toes, and I push off my elbow and hand into a good mount position. If you feel uncomfortable in mount, sometimes at the beginning levels, sometimes we're susceptible to being reversed from here. We can release the grip and go towards a skydive so that we have base points on both sides with the mount. I prefer to maintain my grip so I can start moving on into my submissions from there. So we'll go over that variation one more time. So again, we establish our grips. I'll do that with a slight reverse crunch, bringing Boris towards me, and now I try to break his base completely. As he goes to bring himself back up, that's where I come towards my elbow, my foot goes to the mat, and now I blade my hips and hip escape away so that I can have enough space to bring my knee across his center line. As I do this, I'm gonna come up and post towards my elbow, and now it's gonna be my elbow collapsing. Again, not elongating myself. I'm throwing my elbow underneath as I open my hip to start trying to control Boris's weight. So as I open, now I cut in opposite directions, coming down towards the mat, pushing off towards a good mount position. There is a variation from here a lot of people like, and that is attacking the elbow instead. So the same motion, we're still pulling down, and now I'm gonna pull on the elbow as I open and then cut my leg through towards the mount position. What's good about this one is when I'm controlling at the wrist, the person does have the capability to post with their elbow. Can you post your elbow out for me? Good, and that can sometimes make this difficult. What I don't like about, or what I do like about this one is I'm allowing myself to use a little bit of momentum, throwing myself underneath, where I feel like when I go at the elbow, I'm still on my side, and I don't get that extra momentum throwing myself under. That's why I prefer the wrist. I've been swept both ways with it, so I know both ways are effective. And that's the scissor sweep from full guard.